This NYU professor, Scott Galloway, wants to cut Social Security benefits for rich people who, as he says, don't need the money. In fact, by his estimate, up to 30% of Social Security recipients wouldn't even miss the money if they lost all of their benefits tomorrow, and that savings could save Social Security for the rest of us. So we're going to break down the math and the demographics of who these glittering rich retirees are, and spoiler alert, if you've saved more than $600,000, you might be on the professor's chopping block. If you're new here, my name's Ben. I've been a financial advisor for almost 20 years, and I'm here to help you have an even better retirement. Let's learn a little bit more about Professor Galloway and how he's going to save Social Security.
Somewhere between 10 and 30% of people who get Social Security right now should not receive it because they don't need it. The wealthiest generation in the history of this planet are senior citizens, and the fact that every year we effect a $1.2 trillion transfer from young people who are not doing as well as they have in past generations to the wealthiest generation in history means something is wrong. We need serious reform. We need to dramatically cut the costs. It's been way too politically dangerous to get near. Old people have figured out a way to vote themselves more and more money. It needs to stop. A third of senior citizens should not be getting Social Security.
That's a bold statement. The professor says taking Social Security away from 30% of retirees will save the program, and they're not even going to miss it. I mean, to me, that sounds like a no-brainer. Let's take that money. But just to be sure, before we confiscate money from people that have saved their entire lives, let's meet the top 30, 20, and 10% of retirees, and let's learn a little bit more about their finances. In my research, I found a few ways that we can approach the data. We can look at census data, we can look at median and average annual income data from the Federal Reserve, and we can look at net worth data using sources from Fidelity and Wealth Tender and derive income assumptions from there. In the data we'll discuss, we used a little bit from all three resources. All my sources are in the video description if you'd like to check my math. So let's start with the top 30%. Now this group was a little bit trickier to find data for versus the top 10 or the top 20%. According to NerdWallet, the average retirement account balance for retirement age folks is about $600,000. The median balance is closer to about $200,000. So because we're talking about the top third of retirees, I think it makes sense in this instance to focus on the average. So let's calculate annual portfolio income. We'll do that by using a 5% withdrawal rate on a $600,000 portfolio. 5% of 600,000, 30 grand a year. So far, not the glittering rich billionaires that Professor Galloway was referring to, but let's examine their Social Security benefits. And we had to make a few more assumptions here. But if this group is among the top 30% of retirees, I think we can assume that they'd have slightly above average Social Security income. As the higher your income is during your working years, the higher your Social Security benefit will be in retirement. Just as a refresher, Social Security calculates your benefits in part by taking your highest 35 years of earnings, adjusting them for wage inflation, and then averaging them. So in 2025, the average Social Security benefit is around $1,900 a month. So let's assume our top 30% wealthiest retirees are slightly higher than that, at about $2,500 a month or $30,000 a year. So total annual income for the top 30% of retirees, $30,000 from portfolio income and $30,000 from Social Security, $60,000 per year. 50% of their total income comes from Social Security when we're talking about the wealthiest 30% of retirees. Now, Professor Galloway insists that there are people that don't need Social Security and they wouldn't miss it. I agree that that's probably true, but retirees in the top 30% would absolutely notice a 50% cut to their income. So if you're in the top 30% of retirees, again, we're looking at median. We'll talk about averages at the end. You're doing pretty well, but you're not doing well enough to live completely without Social Security. If it's not those in the top 30% that won't miss their Social Security, according to Professor Galloway, let's look at the top 20%. Certainly they won't miss their benefits. So who are the top 20% according to median figures? Well, their median net worth comes in right around $2 million. This is based on Federal Reserve percentile data and confirmed by sources like Don't Quit Your Day Job and Fidelity. Again, look in the video description for all the source links. Now, since we're looking for investable assets, the dollars that actually generate retirement income, we've got to subtract home equity. For the top 20%, median home equity is right around $800,000. So that leaves us with an investable portfolio of about $1.2 million, double the folks in the top 30%. Using a 5% withdrawal rate, that would generate around $60,000 per year. Now let's add in their Social Security. If you're in the top 20% of net worth, chances are you've had a solid earnings history, maybe not maxing out your benefits every single year, but enough to qualify for above average Social Security. A reasonable median benefit estimate would be around $2,800 a month or $33,600 per year. Add the two together, and you've got a total annual income of $93,600. Social Security makes up about 36% of that total income. Now, let me ask you, if you're a single retiree bringing in $93,000 a year, and someone takes away a third of that, are you still too rich to notice? If you're married, you might be collecting a spousal benefit, making Social Security an even higher percentage of your total annual income. So it's not the top 30% that can live without Social Security, and it's not the top 20% either. Certainly, it must be those glittering rich top 10% retirees that don't need Social Security. Let's meet them. Their net worth comes in around $3.1 million. Since we need to find their investable net worth as we're trying to determine retirement incomes to see if they're not going to miss these benefits, we need to subtract their home equity again from their net worth. Home equity for the median top 10% of retirees comes in at $1.2 million, which leaves us with a portfolio size of about $1.9 million. This figure is backed up by retirement planning software company Bolden. Using a 5% withdrawal rate on a $1.9 million portfolio gives us an annual portfolio income of around $95,000 per year. Now let's calculate their Social Security. If a retiree is in the top 10% of investments, I think it's pretty reasonable to assume that they might also be among the top 10% in Social Security recipients. According to the Social Security Administration, the top 10% of retirees collect a benefit of around $3,000 each month, potentially double that amount if you are in a married couple. Now, assuming my assumptions are correct, Social Security amounts to about 27.5% of their total income. Now, let me ask you this. If your income shrunk by over 27%, would you notice? I think I would. So there's the breakdown of the top 10 to 30% of retirees. Now, it's clear to me that they would, in fact, all miss their income from Social Security at every single level of net worth. But there's got to be some level of wealth where retirees wouldn't miss their Social Security, right? Let's meet those folks and see if cutting their benefits will actually fix what's broken in the system. Now, according to Bolden, the top 1% of retirees have a net worth of $16.7 million. Now, let's assume very generously that all of that is investable assets. None of it is tied up in business or real estate or even a Ferrari collection. At a 5% withdrawal rate, that generates over $800,000 per year in income. Not bad. With the maximum Social Security benefit of around $5,000 per month or $60,000 per year, that's just under 7% of their total income. Honestly, they probably wouldn't miss a lousy 7%. So that's perfect. We just cracked the code. We can just take Social Security away from the 1% and save the system. So you grab a torch, I'll grab a pitchfork, and we'll do this. Except there's a problem. There just aren't that many people in the 1%. It's 1% of the population. And even fewer of them are collecting Social Security and fewer of them are getting the max benefit. And let's not forget, thanks to how Social Security is designed with bend points that favor lower earners, higher income retirees are already capped at what they can receive. So let's run the math. Social Security sends checks to roughly 50 million retirees. What's 1% of that? That's 500,000 people. The 1%, 500,000 people. Let's assume every one of them gets the maximum benefit of $60,000 per year. That's $30 billion annually, which is a really big number until you compare it to the $1.6 trillion in total benefits that Social Security is going to pay out in 2025. That means by eliminating the benefits for the entire 1%, you get 1 week of Social Security payments. That's it, just 1 week. Then we're back to where we started. So what gives? Why does Professor Galloway think this is the solution? Well, here's the mistake I think he's making, and other people are making as well. He's using average wealth, not median wealth. That's a really big deal. When you use averages, you're not just looking at the retiree who is really good at saving, you're also looking at the Jeff Bezoses and the Warren Buffetts of the world. That reminds me of the old joke, when Warren Buffett walks into the bar, the average net worth of everybody in that bar jumps by $1 billion. That sounds absurd, right? Well, that's because it is. Averages distort reality. They make middle-class retirees look like Vanderbilts and Rockefellers, and that's how policies like this get sold to the public, by fuzzy math and populism. So let's take a closer look. The top 10% of retirees have an average net worth of about $5 million, but the median in that same group is only $3.1 million. That's a $2 million gap, all because of a few ultra-wealthy outliers. So yes, Warren Buffett doesn't need Social Security, and he has said as much, but he's not the guy that this policy would hit. It would hit the retiree down the street, my client, people who saved and worked diligently for 40 years. They followed all the rules, and they saved up a couple $1,000,000 to enjoy a comfortable retirement. Those retirees still rely on Social Security for 30 to 40% of their income, and they absolutely would miss it if we took it away from them. These are not the people that are partying with Mark Zuckerberg on a yacht somewhere in Spain. So sure, let's fix Social Security. Let's absolutely have that conversation, but let's base it on reality, not distorted averages. Because there simply aren't enough billionaires collecting Social Security to fix the system by cutting them off. And the minute you dip down into that 10 to 30%, you're not targeting the rich, you're targeting those that are prepared for retirement. So unless your plan is to fund 51 weeks of Social Security with just good vibes, maybe let's put down the pitchforks.